Welcome back to How Not to Play Like Wil Wheaton. This week we'll be reviewing another one of the 4 pillars of modern gaming, Carcassone. Now by far, Carcassonne has the largest luck component of these 4 games, but that in no way excludes it from being strategic. It is true that occasionally you'll have a game where you just don't get the tiles you need, but careful planning can greatly reduce the luck of the draw aspect, and reduce these occurrences to a negligible amount. The first way to reduce the randomness of this game is to know the tiles. Know what the tiles look like and how many of each tile is available. This will help you not create situations that are impossible for you, as well as let you know when you can place a tile to prevent your opponent from scoring, usually by making it impossible to complete their large city. Now, while playing the game hundreds to thousands of times will help you memorize this, I know that's not a possibility for most people. So what I recommend is using the guide that is in the rulebook. I have also seen people print out the sheet with the different tiles and their frequency and laminate it, so that they can mark what has been drawn and wash it off at the end of the game. The next strategy to learn is how to place your tiles most effectively. The large majority of the game you'll be playing offensively, trying to score as many points for yourself as possible. Build on your own cities, roads, monasteries, and farms. Alternatively, you can attempt to steal points by latching onto other people's cities and roads. But be very careful when you do this. People often get caught up in fighting over a large city, and spend so many resources trying to get it that they lose out on more points than they could have gained by working on their own cities. A good rule of thumb is that if you need to put a third meeple into fighting for a place, it is probably not worth it. The city is probably large and tempting, but it will most likely never get completed, and will tie up so many of your few and precious meeples. Also, you want to place a farmer or two early on, because as the game progresses, it becomes harder and harder to place them. But do not place them too quickly. You should always wait till the farmer goes on a field that already has at least one completed city. One of the worst things that can happen is running out of meeples, like here, where all 7 meeples are placed. Ideally, you want to place your last meeple on your very last turn. On the flip side, if you have too many meeples in hand, it means you have very few potential points on the board, and this is not good either. During the middle of the game, if you have more than 3 meeples, you will want to be placing a meeple pretty much no matter what. Less than 3 becomes trickier, because it becomes a balancing act between placing to score points and not placing so that you have enough options later. It is often better at this point just to add on to existing cities or roads if possible. One thing to remember is that if you can score a city of yours, you should always do it, even if you share it. This returns meeples as well as guarantees the double points. Leaving it open means you may never complete it due to sabotage or never getting the correct piece again, and this loss of points is often the difference between winning and losing. The only time you might not complete a city is if you would give an opponent who is out a meeple back. One last technique is utilizing road placement. Now, roads themselves do not give a lot of points, but used carefully, they can extend your fields. Like if you were red, you could use a road like this to gain access to those cities. On the other hand, they can also be used to cut people off. For instance, if you were blue and you wanted to cut off red, you could play a road like this. Now, also, you can use road tiles to help block city placement. There are very few tiles with both roads and cities on them, and most of them are directional. So placing a road in the face of someone else's city often makes it impossible to complete. Such as, if you were to place this here, you could stop blue from completing that city. Lastly, a quick 2-point road segment like this one is always useful, because it gives points without having to wait to get your meeple back. That's all for this episode. Do you think Carcassonne is too much luck, or a wonderful strategy game? I want to hear in the comment section below. And as always, remember to share, like, and subscribe. and I'll see you next time on how not to play like Wil Wheaton.